The right to a free education, K through 12 that is something I have always admired about America. You see, where I'm from, education for anybody at any age does not come free. And along with it not coming free, you start school a whole lot earlier. You see, me, for example, I started school when I was 2 years old. Not 4, not 5, but 2. And you know what? When me and my family came to America, they told me I was too young to go to school. But when I did start kindergarten, I was ahead of my peers. But, as time progressed and, we got higher in our grades, my peers caught up to me. And that's okay. You see, there's a new law they're trying to implement on Capitol Hill. It's about trying to make universal pre-K. Hold on. Wait. Although it sounds like a beautiful idea to allow 4-year-olds to, go to school, get ready for kindergarten and do this and create all these skills and make friends, the cons really do outweigh the pros. Universal pre-K should not be allowed. You see, the thing about pre-K that makes it successful is that it's always been optional. When you want to make it a federally funded program, there are so many loose ends that seriously need to be tied. Pre-K should not become federally funded because you know what? It will lose its individuality. And also, it boasts about all these successes, but if you take a closer look at them, you see they're not as great as they seem to be. There are 2 types of pre-Ks out there, the privately owned ones and the state-funded ones. You see, the privately owned ones have an array of individuality. On a pre-K blog I found called Pre-K Pages, it's like a blog that allows teachers to find different ways to organize their classrooms to teach their students. One of them I found was a New Creation Preschool. At New Creation Preschool, which is Christian-based, they try to stress the 5 important selves. And those 5 selves are the physical, the emotional, the social, the creative, and the intellectual. And you see, there's a big difference between that and the state-funded preschools. The state-funded preschools are for families who have kids that want to go to preschool, but the families can't afford it. You see, Georgia implemented one like that called the Head Start. But the difference between the Head Start program and the privately funded program is that the Head Start program has a rigorous curriculum they must follow that has to adhere to the federal performance standards. And you see there's definitely a lack of individuality in the state-funded programs. You see, when you try to implement federal funded pre-K, the individuality is definitely in danger. And let's look at our public schools for examples. Let's face it, our public schools are sometimes just not up to par. And you know what? That's just K through 12. Imagine trying to implement pre-K into the mix. That's causing a greater hassle for the American education system to overcome. With a faulty public school, we need to understand that is pre-K worth it? Yes, they boast about so many of their successes, but are the successes true to fact? You see, a lot of the successes that pre-K boasts are definitely fabricated facts. You see, it's kind of like an infomercial scam. You see this product, right? You buy it, you think it's going to do all these wonders. So when you get it, your mind thinks you're doing something. But you know what? You're really not. And when you finally wake up from that dream, you're upset because no one forced you to do it, but you gave in to your own desires. That's kind of how the pre-K program is too. It boasts about how impressive it is, but there are no noteworthy results. For example, they say the average dollar amount for a child who attends pre-K is $10. Wait. There's so much behind that. You see, that study was done for children who came from low-income families. Low-income families mean that they were provided with free after-school tutoring and their teachers came to their house for home visits. If they had done this study on children who came from middle and upper-class families, the results would have definitely been different. Also, the study size was 56 students. 56 students, that is equivalent to 1% of the children who attend pre-K per state. So imagine how small that number would be on a grander scale. You see, the results of that experiment are completely faulty. You know why? Because the sample size was way too small and there was definitely not enough diversity. Pre-K children have an upper edge against their classmates. And that's true for kindergarten, maybe first grade, But after that, it starts to decline. You see, Lisa Snell, an education director, did a study and found out that the advantage that pre-K students have over their peers decreases over time. And by fourth grade, teachers can't notice if a child went to pre-K or not. You see, after a while, pre-K becomes insignificant. Look at yourself, for example. I'm pretty sure at your first job interview, they didn't ask you if you went to pre-K or not. You see, the pre-K program boasts about so much of how great it is, but is it really as great as it seems? Not really. Why should the federal government want to adopt a program whose benefits don't outweigh its costs? You see, I'm not against pre-K. I think it's a beautiful thing. You get the child to learn a new environment, but I do not think that pre-K program is that important to become federally funded. You see, these skills can be learned later on, and I feel as if pre-K should definitely remain optional and not mandatory for students. Because when you make it mandatory, it loses the individuality. And I feel as if the American government will lose our money. Because you know what? The pre-K program is not performing up to standards it set for itself. Thank you.